Today's guest on DukascopyTV is Antje Praefcke. She's a senior FX strategist at Commerzbank in Frankfurt and is joining me now to discuss her outlook for some of the most traded currencies. Hi Antje, it's been a bumpy road for the euro-dollar throughout this year amid European turmoil. As we head into next year, what kind of range can we expect to see the euro-dollar trade in? And of course, considering both the best and worst case scenario in terms of the European debt crisis, what are your slightly longer-term forecasts for this pair?
Well, we think that you have basically two different forces determining the FX market next year. One is certainly the European debt crisis, which will continue to weigh on the euro. And on the other hand, you have still the expansionary policy of the Fed and budget problems in the United States as well. So if you have a closer look to euro dollar, we think that overall the concerns about the European debt crisis, and we know that a solution cannot be found within 2 or 3 weeks. So that's something that's going to occupy the markets over the next year as well. So this will continue to weigh on the euro. But we do not see a collapse of the euro because, on the other hand, we have, as I just mentioned, the factors weighing to a certain extent on the US dollar, which means that we have still this expansionary Fed policy. They are even thinking about quantitative easing number 3, and we have budget problems in the US as well. So that's why we think that we will see a moderate depreciation of the euro over the next year in our central scenario, and we expect euro dollar to trade around 125 at the end of next year.
Let's move on to the euro-yen. At what level do you see this pair in the short, mid and long term?
Well, in the short term, since dollar-yen is quite stuck to, let's say, the 78 level, the main focus on euro-yen will be how does euro-dollar evolve for the next couple of weeks. Now we think that, considering current market uncertainty about what will happen, we have illiquid markets towards year-end. We think it's possible that we're going to see a dip lower in euro-dollar, and that would mean a dip lower in euro-yen as well. But I think the 100 level in euro-yen should not be breached, at least for the moment. But as we expect euro-dollar to go lower next year, and dollar-yen, due to the policy of the Bank of Japan, is likely to be stuck around the current levels we are seeing, the weakness in the euro will display also in euro-yen, which means that we expect in the first couple of weeks next year, euro-yen to dip below the 100 level before we see a slight recovery of the yen due to its, let's say, safe haven function towards the end of next year.
What about the euro-Swiss franc? Markets are still pondering policy changes by the Swiss National Bank. So what are your forecasts looking like?
For the moment, we stick to our view that the 120 level will be the line in the sand for the SNB. We are still even above these levels without the SNB intervening too much in the currency market. So for the moment, this policy has worked well. Now, we have seen recently quite weak CPI numbers, which means that the risk of deflation seems at least to increase a little bit in Switzerland. And that means that in case we see increasing deflationary pressure, the SNB is likely to again impose measures to fight these deflationary tendencies, which could mean that it is about to, or in this case, it is likely to sell more francs, and it is likely even to increase the euro-Swiss up-down limit, which would mean that probably it would raise it up to 125. That's why in our current forecast we still see 120, 121, the lower end. But since the timing is very difficult to forecast shifting up of the current barrier in euro-Swiss, we see towards the end of year 125, which implies that we expect over the next couple of months an increase in this down level in euro-Swiss.
Thank you very much for your insight, Antje, and your latest projections. Now, there'll be another edition of Targets in Focus tomorrow, so for now, goodbye.